Now. Okay, hello, welcome again to another Ask the Expert session. Today about zk theme customization. We had the same topic roughly a year ago when we were in the middle of transitioning between the old Maven-based theme building and the Node.js less compiler, which improved the development flow a bit more, and now it has more stabilized. We are using it for all the zk themes internally as well, and for other projects. So this is something we have in production almost every day. So that's what we use for building. So we can practically use this, and I will just introduce it again. I'll look over how to build and deploy a theme, how to develop efficiently in a theme, and if we have some time in the end and demand, also mention how to upgrade from older versions of zk, especially when you come from a version before zk9. There are a few things you can do that makes the merging a bit easier. Otherwise, most of the stuff should be compatible. It's just very important that you can upgrade so that you're not stuck in an old version and missing styles for components and then things break at runtime. Okay, I'm Robert, as always, consultant and support engineer here at Potix since I think now 6 years. And I maintain, luckily I maintain the less compiler, so I can tell a lot about the details if needed, and I should know how it works. So I think we just start right away. So what is a zk theme? In zk, themes are separate jar files that can be added at build time of your WAR file and can be activated at runtime to just give the zk application a different style. And there are multiple ways of customizing styles, adding your own styles, or adding additional styles, overriding the existing styles, adding extra style sheets or inline styles. So there are many ways for small changes, or if you have a like what we talk about today, if you have a incomplete style guide you want to implement, or you want to change stuff more globally in the theme without overriding every tiny bit. Maybe you just want to change a certain color variable or change a certain default font size for the whole application, then creating a custom theme is an easy way to, or not an easy way, should be easy, or it's the central way to uh, achieve this without too much micromanagement, and to um, make it easier to track changes, because every zk version has of course changes in the styles. Sometimes new components appear, sometimes components are removed, which happens less likely, or styles are just changed because old browser styles have been removed for IE6, IE7, IE8 support. Sometimes styles get removed, and often bugs are fixed. So it's advisable to upgrade your themes whenever you also upgrade your zk version. And to make this a bit more transparent, we put all the sources for our themes into a Git repository, so you can clone it and create your own branch in your fork of the theme. And whenever you want to upgrade, you just merge the changes. And of course, merging has the potential for conflicts. So I will show you a few practices what you can do to avoid the chance of collisions between our changes, our fixes, and your customization. And also, and the important part there is, whenever there is a conflict, you also see that something potentially breaks, or that you have to take care of something. So it's good to have conflicts, otherwise you have nothing. So that's the best approach we could imagine how to upgrade the theme. Git has a very powerful merging tool, and that's where we start. We just start with a new fresh theme, see how we build one, and how we change the styles, how we can test the styles, how to use the preview application, and how to test this in a WAR file project as well. Okay, so what I always recommend is going to our GitHub repository, which basically shows the same things I will introduce today. I'll just talk a bit more about it, what this means. And the first thing is, of course, we clone the repository. Now just copy the URL, go to your project, or go to your project folder, and then we just do a simple git clone the URL and the folder. And I want to call my theme and press enter. You don't need to worry too much about doing a shallow clone. It's quite small, so it doesn't take long to clone. Yeah, already done. And then we can go into the folder and just look around a bit. And there we see what it's made up of. Now we have the init shell script, which is doing some token replacement in the source files to give your theme a name, to put the Java classes into specific packages, into your own package, and to adapt them the Maven POM file to be your own artifact and group name for your jar file dependency. So we recommend using, or this one is based on Maven, but you can of course include the resulting theme into your Gradle build, but this one is only Maven based. Now we just init this one. Now you call the init function. From what I remember, we tested this also on Windows. So if you have Windows and you use the git bash, you can run this init shell script also in the git bash, and also in Windows, the subsystem Linux or the embedded Ubuntu, you can also run this theme project. It just doesn't work for the command shell on Windows directly, but there are enough alternatives. And if you can't run it, you will see there are only a few changes. You can do these manually in a few minutes if you know what you need to change. So we give the theme a name, just call it zk.example. It's our group name. And the theme is called my theme. You can put any name. Don't put any weird characters here because this is used in class names as well. Just stick to characters and underscore, then you have less problems later. The version, whatever you like. I think I use snapshot because that's what I later use in my other project. And display name, and it's done. All done. You see, it will do a few replacements in files. So if we check what has been updated, we see it modified a few files and it deleted a few files and it created a new folder. This will be this will look more obvious when we add this to commit. So git add dot, and that's something I always recommend whenever you call the init script and the init is done and you're happy with the results, make a commit, because that's something that will tell you later if you need to upgrade which files have changed, in case we have to change some of these files in the theme project, so that you can revert the changes and before an upgrade, merge a new upgrade and then just init again with these changes. So keep this a separate commit. And we just look quickly into what these changes are. Oh, minus staged. And we see, for example, here it replaced the token theme name in some compiled scripts. It set the Maven group ID and the version and the artifact ID. It did some more in the POM file, display name. So here it changed a bit of the code. It set a default theme, a preferred theme variable. It gave me a proper jar file name, and also changed the README. So now you can read the README, and the README will show the commands and the configuration for your theme name. And a few more things. The test project will use the version that we just created. And here a few more token replacements and variables. So all in all, not too much. That's all. Okay, git commit -m. I just say, I always call this init my theme based. And that's it. And then we have the history. By the way, I use the latest zk 9.5 freshly version here. Just always take the latest thing just to test that our latest version works. But we have older tags. If you need a theme for a specific version, you can check out older versions of the theme template. And also we have a different branch for the Breeze theme, for the classic themes. And we will synchronize changes that that originate in bug fixes and new features. And there will be in the commit message, there will be the bug IDs or the feature IDs that uh, where this change is coming from. So you can see if you before you merge, you have some kind of change log to see what kind of changes there are. Okay, so we built our theme, we initialized our theme, and we committed the initial commit, and now we should already be able to build it. So to build the theme, it's a Maven build, Maven clean package. That's the easiest way to build a theme. It will just generate a jar file. Now it will do the less compiling. It will skip a few files. All the files with underscore are not compiled as root files. There will be this is our convention for included files. We will see this later. Yeah, and then that's already it. Now it has created our jar file in a target folder. So ll target, you will see it created our jar file. And that's something you can, if you don't use Maven, you can put this into your WAR file, into the web in flip folder, and this will activate your new theme. Of course, building a jar file you only need in the end. First, you need to do the theme development, and this is slightly more involved in the building. You see, it took, how long did it take? The build took 13 seconds here. That's too long for my taste. So if you have to wait for 13 seconds for every build time, and then you need to restart your server to just apply the WAR file, or to apply the jar file inside your WAR, it takes too long. So there are better ways of doing this. So what was the next thing? That's why we have a preview app, so you can see your theme directly live with a single command within the project. It's not very sophisticated. It's something very simple, and that's the purpose here, to be very simple, just to see that the theme is running. And for this, we have the command over here. Here, I created a small Spring Boot project, and this will run a zk application that is just executable via Java. So it's just a class file that runs, and it will start a small zk project with a single Zul file showing a few components to see if your theme works. So we just run this. You see, it will do the compiling again. So whenever you run this small Spring Boot project, it will compile all the less files, and then it will start a small Spring Boot server. So you don't have to copy everything into a Tomcat. No need to restart a Tomcat. So the Spring Boot is running. It still took a while to start, but we should see this now in our browser. Just open a browser, and then we go to localhost 8080. Well, it's our small zk theme test project. It only shows a few components. You can easily change this. You can add your own components to the Zul file. You will see how this works. This is really just a test to see that your colors are there, that your theme is based on the real theme, and you can see changes in real life, in real time. So what I forgot is the theme project, source main. It's here. So the theme project is over here. This is the new folder we created. We have this in the POM file. POM file is still based on an old zk version, and we just use the latest version of zk, which is zk 9.5.freshly.2020 or 7 minus eval, I think. And Spring Boot, we also use the latest version 2.31. Save this, Control-Shift-O, and then we just run this again. Because here we see it started zk9, but we were building a theme based on zk 9.5. So we just changed our POM file and run this again. And you see it's downloading already the latest freshly version of zk, just released yesterday. So I haven't tested this before, so that's a good test. See if our freshly versions work. Was there an error message? No. Okay. It's still compiling. It's running. And now the drum roll. Is it working? 9.5 freshly is starting. Good. Yeah, it's up. So if we go back to the browser and refresh, we should now see the latest version. I open the developer tools, and I don't want mobile styles right now. Okay. In the console, we can check zk.version. I'll explain the error messages in a second. No need to mention. I know what they mean, and they should be here. So we have zk950 freshly. So everything is up to date. And we can check in our cookies. Local host, our current zk theme is not here. Let's refresh again. Does it set the cookie? Okay, it doesn't set the cookie right now. Okay, doesn't need the cookie. And we can, okay, just stay online. So we had these error messages. These error messages come from the fact that I enabled this one with the live reload styles, or this ZUL file contains the live reload styles, and the live reload process is not running yet. And that's the next thing we can do easily. We just go again to our to GitHub and check the next command. For development, we have the continuous compile watch. So I have a prepared less compile command, and open a new tab in our terminal and run the continuous less compiler. This takes slightly longer now, 5 seconds. When I'm not sharing Zoom, via Zoom, it takes about 3.5 seconds. And this is compiling all the less files. So if we do smaller changes, we will see this will be much faster. So now we just test if something works, and then if everything works from command line, we go into the IDE and have a bit more comfortable way and look into some of the configuration here. So what we change is we I always change the button styles. So we stay at the screen. We can reload. Now the error messages should disappear. So we can see it is connecting to a WebSocket. And this is the WebSocket to the live reload server on localhost port 50,000, which will replace the less files whenever they need to recompile. So we just change a file, source, archive, web, JS, ZUL. I always change the button. ZUL buttonless. And what I can the easiest thing to see is we change the button color. Where is the background color here? We just say, make the button red and save. And the button turns red. So I was hoping for this to have to work, so good. So when saving the file, it instantly, it figures out that one file was changed, so the buttonless was changed, and then it's compiling only this file. It takes 0.something seconds, even faster without the screen sharing. And then the WebSocket here will send a message that there was a successful compilation. And based on this, it will reload the CSS file, the WCS, and you will have updated styles in your in the browser. So that's something we have looked at. Oh, can I use it with zk7? The less compiler was added in zk and in zk9. It's possible to use this in zk8. I haven't tested it with zk7. There will be lots of changes you have to make because lots of styles that are incompatible with the less compiler have been changed in the meantime. So for zk7, there is an older less compiler which is slower and it doesn't have the live reload features. But with a bit of tweaking, I think the live reload features should be possible to use there as well. It's just more tedious. And maybe the last session is something for you where we are still in the transition, where I was playing with a less compiler based on Maven that is, I think, was still capable of compiling the older versions. Maybe send an email, ask for the old recording. This could contain some information. Okay, so this is since zk9, this is built in. I know this also works with zk 8.6 and 8.5, if I'm not wrong, with a few manual changes. So ask our support or ask me in our support if this is necessary. Otherwise, things move forward. Going backwards is difficult because the old versions are already released. You can't change the contents. Okay, so we know live reloading works. So we switch to the IDE. Just move this a bit to the right. And then we have and it's a bit more comfortable looking at the stuff. So we know the live reloading works. And it doesn't matter which IDE or editor you use. That's why I always start with the command line editor, just to show the file is saved and it will find the change. It's watching the files for changes. So what is the command? We have the magic commands. Thing is, I forgot one step and it still worked. That's interesting. I don't know why. Okay, it's done by Maven automatically. I forgot to do the npm install. So after you clone it, you do the npm install. That's also documented here. So don't forget to do the npm install to download the Node.js dependencies for the REST compiler. It's not huge, but it has quite a dependency tree. And I try to keep it up to date to avoid security warning. So this one is still using the 1.12 version, but the latest one is 1.14, and this tiny caret here will use the latest version. I don't know, there are different versions. Can you show how to add additional styles to control the button color, for instance, in the Zool file? I can show this, yeah. Let me just go through this file first, and then we will talk about this. If I forget you, ask me again. So we have this is the Node.js command, zkLess C. It will just compile what's in source archive web, and it will output into the target folder directly. So that's why it will end up in the class path of the Maven build. That's why it's integrated with Maven. And while the Spring Boot application is running, this path becomes the class path of the Spring Boot application, and that's why the changes happen at real time. And this is the normal compilation, and this is the watch compilation for development for the continuous build. So -w means -watch. S is source, O is output or the target folder, and W is the watch flag. There are a few more flags. Where did I mention this? So if you want the whole documentation, it's on zkLess engine. And I think there's not many GitHub projects with the same name. I just misspelled it. I think like this. Here, that's the wrong URL. Someone is copying Node.js, the npm package. Why is it not npm? Come on, give me the right package here. So this is the official plugin published 6 years ago. What's happening here today? I don't want any of this garbage. That's not right. What's wrong here? I use zkLess engine. Where's my less engine? Okay, there's the latest version. Okay, and this one will then also show the README when it's a bit better readable on GitHub directly. So here you can check all the commands. If you need imports, maybe you have some styles, you want to import some other CSS files. Maybe you want to set some custom less options because your additional styles need to enable or disable certain less features. Now you can specify a different reload port, which is 50,000 by default for the WebSocket connection. You can enable the compression, which is done by default in the POM file. So the Maven build will automatically add the compress option, so you get minified CSS as the output of this build. But you can disable this if you don't want minified code. And for the development, it's never minified. But you can change these things. These are small, tiny scripts. It's not a long thing. Yeah, one dependency and nothing else here. Okay, so where's our Zool file? The Zool file is in the preview app. Preview, we have a web preview Zool. So here is my tiny page. So if you want to style a button directly, you can say style and you say background, background color green. Save the file because it's save the file. Control Shift F9. And I first need to import this as a Maven project. Wait, let me give me the module settings. I will say plus import module the my theme, or is it already imported? Don't know if we did this. zk embedded training. Okay, custom theme, my theme. Okay, this one is a Maven project. Finish and apply and okay. And I hope this will turn up on the Maven project here. Okay, yeah. And now I don't have to run this anymore from command line, so I can stop this server here. And instead I can run my project from or do I? I just run it again. I forgot how to run this from the IntelliJ. It's definitely no, it's easy possible. I remember. Just stop this one because there's the theme preview app. You just run it. Run preview app, and then it should run in the console in the IDE. So that's one benefit of the Spring Boot thing. You just run a Java class, and then it's there. So it should be the same. It should still be running on port 8080. Just reload the page. And this button is not becoming green. So what did I do wrong? I need to compile this file. Control Shift F9 and then reload. Did I change the right button? No. Okay. Style background color green. Preview Zool. If someone knows what I'm missing, let me know. Because this one should disable the caches and it should be there. I'm not running in debug mode. So run it in debug mode and then changes can be hot code replaced. But this is how it should work. Yeah, we change the background color as an inline style. Alternative is to set an S class and then the button gets an extra style class. My button. And then you can have your own CSS files that specify styles for my button. So that's something that you can do inline. And now reload again. I am blind. My changes don't appear here. This could be because I need to Maven clean. Sometimes Maven caches too much and then it finds the wrong files. Okay. Just stop and reload. And if it doesn't work, we continue with the script. and then ask me directly. But it's possible to change this in the Zool file directly. I'm just somehow not prepared for that. Come on, run. Oh, build mod, rebuild, Control Shift F9. Okay, it doesn't like me. Why is it still running here? Okay, that's a test project. Okay. Class not found, exception test class. That's so weird. Of course, it's there. It's right here. Okay, now it's starting again. And if I don't see the colors right now, we just continue with the with the normal theming. Okay, yeah. Now the button is green, and we can see it's this button has the inline style applied, and this button has an extra style, my button. And if you have styles for the if you have CSS styles for my button in a different CSS file, then just put your styles there. Put a background color, change the border the border radius to something else. Add a shadow. Things you want to do with buttons. Okay, so now we have a functioning project again. Just test if we can see real-time changes still. So we go to source archive, and then this one is slightly better to see because it's all expanded. Just need to find the widget less folder button. Button less. The swap file is still there. I think I need to close this one. Control X. Then the swap file should disappear, and I can change it directly inside the IDE. Border radius, where was our background color? Red. So now if we change our buttons to maybe purple, purple, save it, it instantly changes again. So now a new feature that was asked for a lot in ZK 9.5 is oh, I have an additional question. I meant how to create a new CSS class in the less button green, which overrides the existing styles and just changes the color. I don't know what you mean. How to create? If you want to create a CSS class, you just create it. You write it into a CSS file and it's there. So I don't think that's your question. And as long as it's not applied, it doesn't get used. So we created a new one, my button, and if we want to create a new style, my button, we just add it here, my button, and then we say text color. Oops, color is yellow. Save it, and then the second button should become yellow. I see this one is now yellow. Is that what you meant? Because it sounds too simple, so I don't know if this was the question. Just adding a style is adding a style. So maybe that was your question. So what else can we do? So we have a custom my button. So that's also one thing I was talking about the new feature. So the new feature what was asked for is how to create a new theme based on the compact themes, because this ice blue theme is too spacey for when upgrading from an older ZK project into new version, suddenly the space doesn't fit anymore. And that's why we created the compact themes. They became quite popular, but we didn't have them covered in our theme template. And now we have. And this happens inside the source package in the archive in the zkLess. So here we have our zk variables, and in the header you can see it's doing one thing. Yeah, it's importing a profile and a theme palette. So these are two features you can combine for yourself. So with the profiles, we have now extracted all the variables that make the difference between the spacey and then the compact theme. And the theme palette, if you want to add additional colors, you can put something there. And these are less variables, starting with the add character and then the curly braces, and they're defined in the zk variables file. And here we see the profile is currently default, and the theme palette is ice blue. The zk theme template itself only contains the default styles, and the ice blue is empty. But you can specify your own ones. So here you see the ice blue less is just empty, but you can create many color themes you want there and just build them by changing a parameter. In the profiles, you see there's two profiles, one for compact and one for default. So what we can do now is we change it from default to compact. And this will, because we changed the variables, this will trigger a rebuild of everything. So it's recompiling all the CSS files. 69 files in 6 seconds. And now we have a compact theme. I think that's now possible. You can switch between compact and non-compact in real time. This is a bit more than you need, because I think most people will decide at the beginning if they want to make a compact theme or a bigger theme, and then never touch this parameter again. But what you can do is you can create your own profile. You can add a different profile here if you want to. But these are the two default we now have. And now we can customize based on this theme. So this is, I think, very helpful. One thing I would, yep, now a few patterns. If you want to override zk variables, I would suggest not touching the zkLess variables file, zk variables less, because these might change when we have bug fixes or something. And if you don't want conflicts, yeah, just create your own file, because if you add additional variables, they will just override existing variables. Unless you add them at the bottom, you just add my vars.less, and we can create this file. Just create a new file, my vars.less, and for example, we can change what can we change? We just look which variable we want to change. There's some with the blue color, for example, global variables, theme project, base width 8 pixels. Is there somewhere the color primary? That's a good thing. So we just redefine the color primary, which is the dark blue, into something else. We just say the color primary is crimson. Save it. And what we also need to do is save this file. And when this file is saved, it should recompile everything, and then we should see the changes. But I made a mistake. I forgot the semicolon. And now it's recompiling everything. And now the default color should change to crimson once the compiling is done. And now we have a different color theme, basically. And with because we added a line to the end, the chance of conflicts when upgrading the zk version is quite low. Yeah. The same goes for if you change, for example, the button less. Yeah? I wouldn't suggest adding stuff to the file itself unless you really want to change things. I would suggest you just import your own file at the end. You just say the same thing again. What was the import statement? So we just import our custom styles from the local folder. As said, if you use an underscore, then this file will be skipped in the compilation process, and it will only be compiled as an include to other files. So this is the marker for non-root files. Like will not generate a CSS file separate. So I just have my button styles, and we move these files into the my button. Make a new file again, underscore my button dot less. Yeah, and file. Add this one here, and then we go back to the button less, and we save this one. Just watch that it's compiling. Oh, I need to add a space and save again. You see it's compiling, and then my button styles are still there, but in a separate file. And if I now change the my button list to, well, what is a good color? Pink. And then this icon becomes pink. The disk icon. If we zoom in a bit, we can see it's now pink. So now we have a nice Hello Kitty theme. That's basically how you can change a theme. What I recommend is create your own file starting with underscore, and don't delete or change stuff in the original buttonless, so you have less conflicts. If you really don't want something, just comment it out. And then you have two editing lines, and in case we fix something in between your comments, it can merge inside the comment, and it won't have a conflict. And if we add something around it, it also doesn't have a conflict. So just my recommendation, don't delete stuff, because deleted things, and when we later change something in a bug fix, will cause a conflict, and then you don't know if you need this conflict or not. And by commenting it out, you indicate for yourself that you don't want this style. Even if it's fixed, it doesn't affect you, but you can still see if maybe the change is relevant for you in the Git history. Oh, it's always running out of time. We had, what else did I want to talk about? So, yes, of course, we want to use our theme also, not just in the preview project, but also in a real project. So I created a much more real life project, which is already there. So it's my existing project here. It's a Maven project in this case. I already prepared what I want to do. So it's a multi-module project. So what I say is I want to enable my module, my theme. So it's part of my build script. And inside the my theme usage project, which is my application, I want to include my dependency. I'll just use the same version as well. And what we comment out is here my snapshot version of my zk example, my theme, and the version snapshot. Control-Shift-O is the shortcut in IntelliJ to upgrade. So I still like this shortcut. Can always, or can never thank enough for the person who told me. So good thing. And we see in the dependencies, it found my theme project, and it should be runnable. So we just stop our preview app and we run our theme usage application, also in debug mode. And the my theme usage project is much simpler. It only has a single main.zul, and it only renders a window, and it renders even less. But it just shows that now our Maven dependency can be used in a different project. So we just run it. And now you see it already looks as it should. We have our custom styles, our custom primary colors, our nice pink and purple buttons. It's just instantly there just by adding a Maven dependency. Do you have any neat ideas how to build themes automatically switching with the OS light mode states? Ideas, most likely, switching themes, you need to somehow detect what is the OS system. If there's a JavaScript API to detect the current dark mode, light mode, then there's something you can do about. If there's no way to detect it, have to give a switch to the user. And if you already know how to detect, then you can already answer your question yourself, most likely. CSS filters. Yeah, really, I'm not prepared for that today. I haven't looked into this yet. But what you can do is you can set the when you detect this via JavaScript, you can send a request to the server, and the server changes the preferred theme for the current desktop, and then you need to reload the page using a different theme cookie. So you can build two themes and build them and switch between via cookie. Or if you really like the challenge, create one theme that provides styles for both, but this is most likely two separate themes. I think it's easier, or it would be, you will have an easier life to just load the page with the right theme cookie. Okay, I think where's my theme? My notes, training notes. So yeah, I don't have enough space. Here. Okay, so what we did was we compiled and packaged a jar file. We checked the preview app. We used the new version. Now we tested a real ZK application. So we tested how to add the dependency into a real application. We checked the less engine, where it came from and what's new. We switched between default and compact themes. We checked out the live reloading continuous build feature. Question is, in 10 minutes, can we do a theme upgrade? Is this relevant for someone? Is someone interested in this? Just raise your hand, then I will talk about it. Otherwise, we just talk about other questions. Basically question time right now. And as said, this is optional. If there is a demand, we can talk about it. Dark mode. Dark mode is really the thing of the day right now. Somehow everyone wants dark mode. You see, I don't have dark mode. I like light mode. Okay, so I think I mentioned in the beginning how to make the upgrade easier. So if there's no additional question, we just check how to build an old theme and upgrade and to a newer version. So I just go back one level. We just clone again into my old theme. And because we have an older version, we switch into a different into an older tag. So we say git reset minus hard, or we could have checked out the tag directly. Or I never know how the syntax works, so I use reset, and we go back to maybe 8.6 point. What do we have available? 8.6.2. So what we have now, we are based on the 8.6.2 tag. If we build this one, Maven clean package, you will see that the building is still a lot slower because it's still based on. How do I get the meaning of those global variables you changed before? I hope the name means something. For example, color primary lighter. So these are the base colors. So I don't know, background. And there's some comments behind the ones that are maybe not too clear. Color accent is some highlighting colors. And then icon color, font used for font awesome, mesh, table, grid. So I think the colors have some, or the styles have some meanings and some comments about it, and hope the names are long enough. And because it's a live, you have the live features, you can test quite quickly if something changes in your page, if you found the right one. That was one of the things. If you don't really know which one is the right variable, and you see there are lots of variables. Like color picker, should be clear that this one is for the color picker component, or scroll bar is for for scroll bars. So if there's a big surprise in the names of these things, post a bug or a feature or something and tell us that we screwed up with names. Can happen. But I hope these are somewhat like the notifications or notification windows. Loading bar, tab box is tab box. So there are lots of derived colors based on other variables. And then so that you see the primary color can mean many things in different components. It's just used all over the place, and that's what the designers decided to be the primary color. And then the designers said, this primary color needs to be used for the nav selected color. Yeah, I think it doesn't have a meaning. It's a color, and it's hopefully we got the names right. Now that's the golden layout organigram. So if we forgot something, if you missed something, if something is unclear, let us know. But what should I say? The command would be the padding of the step bar. And this would be the icon size of the arrow icon for the step bar. So I hope this somehow makes sense. I said, if not, let us know. And also just experiment with things. If you don't know what this means, or what is the base bar height? Maybe we change the base bar height to 18 and see what it does. Okay, it doesn't change any. I don't have the preview app right now. This is a different app. Okay. Don't know. This one is live reloader enabled. Just stop this one. Test the preview app. Okay, you got it. Okay, good. Sorry, I was in the middle of upgrading. There is a build failure, which is more interesting. Java 5 is no longer required. Okay. Control R Java home. I need to switch to Java 8 compiler, and then I can build this project. Because my default Java is Java 14. And then if you see this thing, Java 1.5 is no longer required, because in an old version, we still supported Java 5, then you need to use an older JDK to compile. And you see this is a lot slower already. This is the old less compiler. And so we have our old theme. We change a file again. As we say init as, I need to wait. Git status, git, nothing's changed. Okay, /init. So we init our old theme. Group ID test, old theme is the name, and the version is 1, and the display name is old theme. Enter yes. Maven clean package. Just run the compiler again to see that the old theme is compiling. It's compiling. Also here you see the number of files changes. Here it's 57, and in the latest version we had 69. So the number of files is increasing over time if we add more components. Okay, git status. Okay, git add dot. So did I add? Oh, I need to remove the target. Git reset head target. Okay, git commit -m. Then I say init for 8.6.2. So this was my initialization commit. And I want to change one file for fun. Control R nano button less. I change my button to, again, to red, just to see that my changes survive even an upgrade. Save at X, git status. And I say git add source. Git commit -m. Customized button. And now we want to upgrade our customized button to the latest version. So we say git merge. In this case, we merge origin master, or we just merge the master. Otherwise, you merge a specific version tag. And you see there are conflicts. It doesn't like merging because we have changed files, and that's not what we want. So we say git merge minus minus abort. And instead, what we do is we check in our history and we find what is our initialization commit. And we just revert this commit because the init scripts have changed in between, so that we get a clean initialization after merging. So we just revert this commit. I always use the UI and say revert this one. And now it's already reverted. And now we try again to merge. And now it just worked. Git status. We have now our theme customization merged into 9.5, or we have merged the changes of 9.5 into our custom theme. And now we can call init again. We had a test, we had old theme version 2 maybe, and display name old theme. Yes, and now we check if our changes work. We just run the preview application. Sorry if I'm rushing through this. You can watch this in the video in slow motion later. So we should have now our old theme running on localhost 8080 when the Spring Boot has started. Now, come on. Yeah. And our buttons are red again. And we've upgraded to ZK 9.5. So that's roughly the upgrade flow. You revert your initialization commit, and then you merge, and then you reinitialize the project. Otherwise, I don't want to explain how to or which changes we made in the init files. I just reverted and recommitted back. Okay, I think that somewhat concludes what I wanted to talk about, and the upgrading from ZK 9 to 9.5 is just less to merge, but the same thing. If you do this revert and restore later and re-init, then you have a much easier life upgrading, and then you will get all the changes. And if you still have conflicts, you at least know that you touched styles that we also touched, and then you have to decide which are the correct styles. zkEE, no. The theme template builds a theme for zkEE. You can delete the stuff you don't want and just build a theme for you can put your zk theme jar that contains EE styles into your CE project. That's what all our themes do. Whenever you download a theme, it will always contain the EE styles. So don't worry, that's what zk does by default. Even if you don't have the components, you still have the styles. And if you don't want them, comment them out. Don't delete them, just comment them out. Then it will still, I think the commented out stuff will be removed and compressed in the minification process, so you get smaller style sheets in the end, but keep the files so that merging is easier. Just comment out the contents of what you don't want. So don't need zkEE, but the styles should work with EE because they need more components. Because this is the maximum styles we need. Yes. Okay. Again, I hope this concludes session for today. As always, I run out of time, but I think I covered the topics. So I was quite on spot on today with the time. If there are questions, always leave the chat open for a while. Just send a few questions if necessary, and also contact our support if you want more detailed help. Or maybe if you have an old project and you want to use the less compiler, we can check if there's a chance of getting it to run. And watch out for ZK 9.5. We haven't decided on a release date yet, but something about August or September is likely to happen for the 9.5 release. And maybe that contains a few surprises as well. So don't want to spoil it right now. All right. Thanks for listening, and see you next time. I'll stop the recording now.